Nintendo, what the hell are you doing? I understand laws are laws and IPs are IPs, but you don't get it. You're thick. Skip it up and that up. So I've talked about throughout the years how ridiculous Nintendo is with their intellectual property. If you remember, they used to have their own YouTube partner program where you signed up to them like a network, and then they would take a cut on top of YouTube's cut. And it was, oh, hey, we'll rip you off, but you'll be allowed to use Nintendo gameplay footage. Now, keep in mind, you see my channel for the OGs that are here or the relatively new people who've been around long enough. I don't use gameplay footage that often, if at all. So it doesn't affect me. It's not like I'm saying this because it's a concern of mine, but it's 2020 and 99.9% of developers understand that when you use gameplay footage, it's free advertisement. It's free real estate. But time and time again, whether someone made a Mario 64 Unreal Engine 4 remake where it's just a single level just to show off what Super Mario 64 would look like in Unreal Engine, or a remake of a game that Nintendo would never make again, whatever the case may be, there's a bunch of different things that people have tried throughout the years that they weren't looking to profit. It was just that they love Nintendo intellectual properties. It wouldn't have hurt their brand. It's not like someone was using Mario or other IPs like Zelda or Link or Samus in negative ways that would hurt the brand. It was just people saying, man, I really love Nintendo. I really love Metroid. I just want to make something to show love for it. I don't want any money. They still shut it down. It's just how Nintendo is. I've come to learn it. You have to come to accept it. This one, though, is a little far. And it still annoys me. I understand legally they're within their right to do it, but the cause that this was for, come on, Nintendo, really? Like, you're really being that black and white here? Well, everyone, at least who's part of the gaming community, knows Etika. He had psychological issues that came to a head in June 2019 when he took his own life. He was a really cool guy. I talked to him outside of YouTube. We would correspond on Twitter, and he was just at least with me, a positive dude. And unfortunately, a lot of people didn't take his mental health seriously, which I think is human nature to do. You want to think that people are kidding. You want to think that they're just looking for attention. They'll be all right. But I always remember saying back in the day, he doesn't need attention. His channel's blowing up. He gets more with his streams at the time. Even though he wasn't at 1 million subs yet, he would have 50,000 people watching. Like, the Young Turks have 5 million subscribers, and they're lucky to get like 4,000 people watching their streams, which is just normal. It's kind of how it is. But he had a very devout and very large following, and he was a big part of the gaming community, especially the Nintendo gaming community. And Alex Blake put together on Indiegogo something called Etikons, which are custom Etika-themed Joy-Cons for charity. And I'm looking right here. Proceeds from each sale benefit the JED Foundation for Teen and Young Adult Mental Health Awareness. He was going to, the 65% of the proceeds were going to go to the charity. The rest was going to go just for manufacturing costs. The guy wasn't making any money off of them. It wasn't like he was looking to turn a profit with Etika's name. And that's why they got almost $37,000 with 300 backers. 200 of the Etikons are going to be sold on Etsy, and that's it. Everything was going to go towards charity. It's not like this guy was profiting off of Joy-Cons. But of course, Nintendo doesn't care. They are very, very draconian when it comes to their intellectual properties. And this is what they sent Alex. You are on notice that your production, marketing, and sale of the infringing products, your use of Nintendo's trademarks in connection with these activities, and your false association with the Nintendo brand violate Nintendo's intellectual property rights. And Nintendo said to Alex that he needs to cease all production, marketing, sale, and distribution, or he would have to pay up to $150,000 or 113 pounds, depending on where you come from. This is an article from the UK. The trademarks that Alex supposedly infringed, I'm looking now, is Joy-Con, Nintendo Switch, Mii, Wii Fit, and Pokemon. And Blake says that they didn't shut down completely the making of the shells. He just has to modify them and get rid of any kind of Nintendo branding whatsoever, which kind of defeats the point. What are you doing, Nintendo? Anyway, and this is what Alex Blake told The Independent on Reddit. To my knowledge, the only thing that needs to be removed are the words Joy-Con and likely the split Nintendo Switch logo surrounding these words. Nintendo didn't specifically tell me why each design was taken down, but they did include a list of copyrights my designs broke, and the word Joy-Con was on that list. Now, a lot of people thought that Alex Blake got a blanket cease and desist order from Nintendo for his Etsy shop, but he clarified this. That's not the case. The Etika Joy-Cons or Etikons were one of those links they attached, along with the listing of their trademark for the word Joy-Con and the trademark for the Switch logo. The Etikons are the only item I've ever sold with the word Joy-Con printed on them, so it's abundantly clear to me that they were specifically referencing and targeting the Etika Joy-Cons in this case, even though they did target other listings at the same time. I had numerous back and forth with Nintendo's lawyer in order to get my shop in compliance. Our email chain ended up with me asking for licensing and her passing on my request to Nintendo. While I don't expect anything to ever come of that request, it was nice that it was passed on instead of a flat denial. And Nintendo is the company that keeps on giving. They also shut down a Smash Brothers tournament because if you wanted to play the GameCube version of the game, you had to use a piece of software called Slippy. And obviously with the pandemic going on, you're not going to have a in-person tournament. And Nintendo was like, yeah, that's piracy because you're using the Slippy software to try to play the GameCube version of Smash Brothers. So yeah, we're going to shut it down because, that's something that we should do. This is what the Big House had to say on Twitter about Nintendo not letting them play Super Smash Bros. Melee and have a tournament online using the Slippy software to be able to play the GameCube version. The Big House is broken to share we've received a cease and desist from Nintendo of America Incorporated to cancel our upcoming online event. We were informed we do not have permission to host or broadcast the event, primarily due to the usage of Slippy. Sadly, all of our competitions are affected. We are forced to comply with the order and cancel the Big House online for both Melee and Ultimate. Refund information will be sent shortly. We apologize to all those impacted. And I also heard yesterday that there was a bunch of videos taken down that used Nintendo music, even if you were using them within fair use, like say you were showing gameplay of the music that corresponds with a Nintendo game, they took it down because Nintendo has now reverted back to 2015 and 2016. Are you going to bring back your partner program, Nintendo, and take a huge cut of people's money again? Like, what is going on? I understand that Nintendo is legally within their rights to do this, and I know that the diehard Nintendo white knighters out there are going to say, Rich, it's their intellectual property. They can do what they want. And if they want to send cease and desist orders, they can. But I always think to Valve, you realize that Counter-Strike started as a mod, right? And Global Offensive is still a big thing, right? It started with a modification. And instead of Valve shutting it down and saying, this is our intellectual property, you cannot touch it, they embraced it. And now CSGO was a huge moneymaker for them. That's a perfect example, and there's a ton of other examples too, but that's the first one I always think of. Like, yes, could Valve have shut down that modification? Of course they could have. But what would have benefited them? It was a free mod at the time. Valve saw potential with it, and they're like, you know what? Instead of shutting it down, let's embrace it. And they made a crap ton of money off of it. And then you have Etika, who was one of your staunchest supporters, Nintendo. He was a diehard Nintendo fan. And the guy took his own life. He was suffering from mental illness. Someone put together Joy-Cons with the Joy-Con Boys logo on it to commemorate him and celebrate his life. And they weren't making money off of it. They weren't profiting off it. It was going to a charity. And you shut that down too because your logos were on it. Again, I know legally you're well within your right. But should you have is the bigger question. Now, if Alex was taking money for himself out of it, which would be horribly shady to use someone's who passed name to make money. But if he was doing that, not only would it be terrible, but yeah, hell yeah, man, shut him down. But this is for a charity. This is to help people's lives. No one was profiting from it. And you're still going to shut it down? This makes you look awful, Nintendo. When you do things right, I commend you for it. When you do things wrong, I condemn you for it. I know the law is on your side, but this is flat out wrong. And there's also a pandemic going on. It's 2020. People can't leave their homes, and they want to join this tournament with Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is the GameCube version, which people still love to play, and they play at tournaments. Why? It's a piece of software that just lets them play online. I don't understand. Can't you, look, okay, next year, when hopefully things go back to normal and there's a normal tournament and people are using software to try to play the game online, you want to shut it down? Fine, that's different. But can't you make an exception this year, with 2020 being one of the most awful years in a very long time, where people can't get together due to a life-threatening illness? Is it that hard? You can't just put the law over to the side for a little bit. It's not like people are distributing copies for free of Super Smash Bros. Melee. It's not like they're, hey, download the ROM here and get the game for free a billion different times. It's not like back in the freaking LimeWire. Remember LimeWire? Yeah, I'm a boomer. I remember LimeWire. But Nintendo, you miss it, man. When it comes to this stuff, you are totally tone deaf, and you leave a bad taste in the mouth of your community, and it's not good. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.
You blew it.
Hey, if you enjoy my content, consider becoming a Review Tech USA member. I'll have a link below in the description. I live stream now on this channel all the time, and it gives you access to cool emoticons to use as well while I live stream. Again, link below in the description. Thank you for your continued support.